Good morning. Good morning. It's a beautiful morning. It is a beautiful morning. My president is still black. I don't know who your president is. I don't care. I don't care. I am leaning into my reality because after all, everybody gets to create their own reality and live in their own delusions, right? Hey, what's up, Mousequake? You know what? I was just thinking about you the other day and that song that we recorded together and the different variations of it. We can talk about that another time. But hey, thanks for popping in. But yeah, good morning. Good morning from you know what? I was gonna say where I'm at, but I usually like to post where I'm at later on. So none of your business. I'm not gonna tell you right now because safety and whatnot. I will say I'm getting ready to suit up and be back on duty for a little while. And regardless of what my reality used to be in life, I will say this: it's a beautiful thing to step into your power and to step into not only your truth but the truth and create your own reality. And I think that as black people and as black woman, I am black woman first. I used to lean into that, I would say 70 to 80% of the way, but after the way that America just gave us their ass to kiss, I am black woman 100%. Okay, I'm 10 toes down in that. I'm a black woman. Okay. I'm black woman and black woman first. I am for us first because everybody else just showed us where we stand. So it is what it is. The reason why I'm coming on this live is to talk about that and to tell you about an experience I just had recently where I had to say that, and I had to say it with my chest, and it felt good. Why people pretend like the word black is a cuss word? Why are so many people afraid to say the word black? Do you realize that black is the presence of all colors? White is actually the absence of it. They both can be beautiful in their own way, but there is no color without black. Black is the mother of all. Literally, like you have to, every color that comes together, guess what it makes? Okay. So yeah, I love the taste of the word black on my tongue and my lips. I love when I put my lips together to say black. And I love how even thinking of the word black will shake some people to their core because they hate the mother. So I gotta fix my nails and whatnot. Thanks for liking the live. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I gotta live in my space where I show myself and my children how beautiful the word black is, and I make sure that they have so much pride. Oh, it's telling me to share this. Let me share this with my girl. And they take pride in the word, hearing it, saying it, being it. Black, 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 blackity, black, 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 because um, we're still in a world in a country that hates it, that hates it. And that's their problem, not mine. I'm gonna let that be their problem. I'm 41 years old, and man, this has been and it still is an amazing, incredible life. Let's see, where do I go from here? I'll get to why I'm telling you that, but I love being able to say that, and the experiences that I have lived in this 41 year span has been incredible. And there's been pain attached to it. There's been pain attached to it specifically because of being black and specifically because of being a black woman. There has been pain and there has been shame that has been carried. I don't carry any of that shit anymore. And the pain, I don't carry it. Roland Martin said something recently that I think is amazing. He's on my bucket list to be able to have a conversation with one day, maybe next year. You guys tag him. Maybe he'll want to talk with me. But he said that we have to start redistributing that pain. So when it comes and I see it and I feel it, I redistribute it. That pain that tries to get thrown on me because of being a black woman, when I see it and I recognize it, I'm like, all right, cool, clock it and block it. clock it and block it. So I don't take it anymore. You're not going to throw your bullshit on me because you got a problem with the fact that Black excellence just walked in the room, because you are shook because the Queen Mother has stepped into the building. So now you got to do something to try to metaphysically um, level the playing field, because you automatically feel inside of you inferior, or you feel this fear or something. So you're not giving it to me anymore, and then you get to walk out, and I was your spiritual trash bucket, because all that shit you got to put on me and then put me down, and then you get to walk out elevated. No, 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 no. What we're going to do is what Roland Martin said, is we're going to redistribute that pain. So when we see it, we're going to clock it and block it. And we do see everything. We see all, we feel all for a reason. It could be considered a curse, but it's really a blessing. Why? Because we're Queen Mother. You know, Mother knows best. Mother knows best. So when we see it and we feel it and I recognize it, I'm like, all right, bet. You mad because I walked in the building and the whole room shook in my direction. So now you're shook. So now you got to say something cute, like, you're pretty for a Black girl. Or, oh, you're so well spoken. Or, oh, you have 4 children. Are they all from the same father? This is the stuff that is said to me on a regular basis. Would they ever say these things to their sisters, their cousins, their friends? No, because they have a different level of respect for them. So when these things are done and said to me, when these things are done and said to us, when people always feel the need as soon as they're around us, Black women, to try to kick us down into the place that they really, really wish that we would be so they can feel better, when those things happen, we redistribute that pain. We don't dignify it. We don't answer it the same way. We take us and we don't give them what they want, which is to cuss them the fuck out because they deserve it, or which is to go off in a certain way. Hey, if you do it, I mean, do what you do. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But I think that there's a better way to redistribute that pain and to give it right back to them. Because what happens is when you start to cuss them out and everything else, and they earned it, they earned it. So I get it. Sometimes you want to whoop that ass because that kid just, that child just petition for an ass whooping. Um, they deserve it, but then they get to walk away like, yeah, I knew she wasn't nothing. I knew she was an animal. I knew all she was gonna do was X, Y, and Z, and then they get to still feel better about themselves. Redistribute the pain in another way. If you got time for it. I'll look at them for a minute and be like, "Are you okay? Are you well today?" You know what? I'm a little confused about what you just said. These are conversations that happen on the jump seat daily. I earned the same wings that you earned. As a matter of fact, I have the most recent knowledge if you've been here for 20 to 30 years, because I just came from the most recent training. I'm stronger, more virile than you, so I could whoop that ass. I just got out of self-defense training. You probably haven't taken it in 20 years, and you're sitting next to me, and I'm supposed to trust you with my life, by the way? And you're saying these things to me. These are things that happen to us all the time. And if we complain, if we go to HR, I'm not saying this has happened recently, it has not, but these are things in the past couple of years of being a flight attendant. And even and outside of that, I can be on set somewhere. I used to work in corporate jobs. These are things that we have to deal with daily. It's a problem in this world being a Black woman. And America has shown us that, because America showed us that they would rather vote for an imbecile who is a predator, who is a convicted felon, that they would rather vote for that over a Black woman. Or they'd rather not vote at all, which is still a vote against a Black woman. Anybody but her. So this is the climate that we already knew we were living in. But hey, we all got slapped in the face with the truth again. So back to what I was saying. So when I am confronted with these things, I know that I am qualified. Okay, I earned these wings. Or if I'm getting ready to perform somewhere, do whatever, I earned this space that I'm in. I wasn't just a DEI hire. Okay, I earned this. I earned this stage before I walked on it, which is why I get to walk on it. Or I earned this jump seat before I get to strap in and sit down, because I went through more than 8.5 weeks of training and grueling and everything else, blood, sweat, and tears, this and this and that, getting thrown out of stuff, having to jump out of not a moving plane, I'm not no special option, but having to jump out of a plane, period. Have you? So I earn these spaces that I get to be in, and I own these spaces, and and when I say I'm saying me and every other Black woman who knows what I'm talking about. We still get challenged and treated like we don't deserve to be here, or we should be lucky that we're here. Do you know how many older white flight attendants with one of my previous airlines would say in so many different ways. And if you complain about it, if you complain, this is not a fair world. We know that there's a lot of things that we have to suck up or deal with in our own different way. Because if we file a complaint about these things, then we get in trouble, not them. Because as a Black woman, you are not allowed to be a victim here as well. So the point is, when these things are said to me, Black woman, when someone feels the need to say something to try to cut me down just because I am Black woman, I'm going to redistribute the pain. We should redistribute the pain. We should find a way to make sure that they get to own and keep that shit that they tried to put on us. Um, I don't understand what you mean. You want to go ahead and explain that? What made you decide to ask me that question? Interesting. Did you ask that question to the last person that was sitting on this jump seat next to you? Did you ask that question to the last person who decided to who had to be in this meeting or sit across this table from you or be in this Zoom with you? What I'm trying to understand, what were you thinking when you decided to say that? Or what's the purpose here? Or is this of consequence to you? Is there a reason why you feel like you needed to say or ask this? Give it back to them. Redistribute that pain. So let me get into why I came online to do this. I am not a woman of color. I'm not a BIPOC or whatever that is, or black indigenous, whatever, whatever. I am not brown. I'm black. I am a black woman. Okay. It's not a curse word. It's not a word to be afraid to say or hear. I am a got to straighten up my shoulders when I say that. I am a black woman. Period. So sometime recently I was working a international flight. And I love the taste of those words in my lips because let me tell you something. As a twice divorced single mother of four, someone who was a domestic violence victim for um, a long time, I was a part of the child abuse to domestic violence pipeline. Hey, Bourbon Bougie is online. She's done some videos, and I've done some videos talking about how that is a pipeline. You know how they talk about the childhood school to prison pipeline. There's a pipeline for child abuse to domestic violence, and I was a part of that. I broke myself the hell up out of that with therapy and prayer and support and self-love and all that. It feels amazing to be able to say I was and I overcame, and you can too if you are aware. So the point is, I'm doing an intercontinental. I guess it probably maybe it was, but I was doing uh, a a flight from one country to another, and me being able to say that I'm doing that as a single mother, and because it's so unlikely, and I had so many people who tried to sabotage that. Oh God, whew, glory to goddess, and yes, uh, pat myself on the back, all of that shit, pumping my when I say that because that feels so good. Yeah, go after what it is that. So here's the main story. I don't trust this because whenever that happens, it always gets me off. So I'm gonna pop off and pop right back on. So give me a second. Okay, so this is part two of my live. I hate when I forget to put my phone on do not disturb, and then somebody calls me like, "Ugh, listen, stop calling me. Y'all know I don't like to answer my phone. If it can be a text message or an email, send me a text message or an email. You know I stay busy. Don't call me. Don't bother me. Gosh." So I'm back. So I'm gonna get into the meat and potatoes of why I decided to go live. So hi. A lot of you guys are coming right back on. Thank you. I really support the lives. Um, Coming from somebody who was told to shut up a lot of my life, not because what I had to say was not valuable, but because a lot of the times I even from a child, I spoke transformative truth. I said things that made people have to. My words were a mirror to people. My words were a mirror to parents who didn't want to hear and didn't want to see their bullshit. You guys don't tell your children to shut up. Listen to your children. Children, that is how they learn. That's how they grow. That's how they develop their sense of self. That's how they learn that they are valuable, that they are intelligent. Listen to your children. Your children come here with lessons, divine lessons and blessings and everything else. It is your job to cultivate them. Children, I grew up in a time when a lot of people, especially in the church can be a very toxic place for children and women. And I grew up in a time where it was demonstrated so much that children and women should basically be seen and not heard. That, children and women are supposed to be props and they're there to be of service. They're there to boost ego and everything else, and that's it. And actually it's the opposite. Children are supposed to be listened to, they're supposed to be poured into. That's how they learn, that's how they grow, develop. So let's get to the main story. I'm doing a intercontinental, or I'm doing a flight from one country to another, and we had to do a crew swap, and it's a flight from a country where typically I don't see a lot of I'm going to say people of color, just to prove a point. There's a difference between people of color, there's black. I am not a BIPOC. I'm not a person of color. I am black. There is a difference. There is a difference, and I'm tired of people always trying to take away from black and come and be a part of black when it suits them best. Everybody want to be black till it's time to be black, right? So we need to take black back. Take it back. You don't get to share that space, not with me anymore. I'm not sharing that space. I am who I am. Okay. And everybody else gets to stand on their square and get what's due to them. And guess who, after all this time, still has not? But we've been broken the most. We've built the most. We do the most. We are supposed to be your magical black Negroes in every way. As a black woman, you don't know me from nothing, but you automatically look at me as black woman. Ooh, I need to do some emotional dumping on her. She's gonna be my mammy, my whatever. No, 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 no. We keeping all that. We're keeping our black girl magic. It's us. It belongs to us. It's for us. All right, let me trying to get back to the point here. So doing a working a trip. I noticed that there's only, gosh, we're on a Dreamliner, so hundreds of people on board, and I see less than five black people. And when I see a sea of white people and only a few black, I still, at the age of 41, get excited when I'm in certain spaces and I see another black person. Do you know why? Because there's not that many of us in a lot of places. So I get excited, just like a little kid gets excited when you see something that looks like them. You want to see representation, and you want to see that we can be and belong to be anywhere we want to. So I had one of those little moments on the inside. I'm looking at this woman on board. She's looking at me, and I'm like, oh God, let me quit staring at her because before she calls HR or something. And she's like, I feel like this flight attendant is stalking me. And it wasn't like that at all. And then because of some circumstances, I got a little nervous when she came to the one of the galleys. Because typically, when we see somebody come into the galley and they're on their phone during certain times, I'm like, "Oh, she's about to come with a complaint." And actually, she came up and she was very, kind of cheery, and it appeared that she was going to talk about something else, like some small talk with me and another girl that was in the area, and she very uh, meticulously flashed a badge that we needed to see. I'm like, I had a whole moment because at the age of 41, and I know that they exist, but again, this is not something that is just normal and common. When I see Leos or law enforcement officers, especially when I see FAMs in flight, which is your federal air marshals, they don't look like me. And at the age of 41, I was like today years old. Um, Obviously not today because I'm in my hotel. When I met my first black woman federal air marshal, and I had a whole moment. And I love the fact that we were able to have our own conversation with so many other people around, and nobody else knew what we were saying. Why? Because we're a black woman, and our black woman experience, not BIPOC or woman of color experience, is unique to only us. Everybody else has got their own story in their own space, and we have ours too, and we deserve ours. So give us ours, and just, you know what? You guys already kicked us to the side and everything else and said what you said. So that's cool. We got ours. You're not invited anymore. Okay? You're not. We can coexist, but we've already been shown where we stand. So that's cool. We about to rest in that. We about to rest in that and just mind our own black woman business. So I said to her, oh my God, this is like back in the 80s when I saw the first commercial of a black doll. I think it was a Kenya doll. And she knew exactly what I meant. And we had a whole conversation and a whole moment right there. And there were a few other people around. Obviously, nobody knew the thing that she disclosed to me. That was completely undetected, and no one else was around at that time except for another two flight attendants who obviously needed to be able to identify her and have the conversation that we had. And So by this time, we've got, I think, maybe two other flight attendants around, and they're completely like they have no idea what we're talking about, but they're enjoying the excitement and the glee that's on my face and me, and we wound up just having this like teary-eyed moment, and we didn't really have to say it because what's understood doesn't really have to be explained. And so when I said that to her, she was like, "Oh my God, girl!" And so we're having this moment with each other. And one of the other flight attendants, she caught on to it. And no shade to her, I'm just gonna speak the facts of it. And if you get offended, that's on you. That's between you and you. Okay, you and your God, or you and your demons. Y'all go work that out as to why you're offended, please, and figure that out. So she says to me, "Oh, oh, you." I've seen other women of color or people of color who are fams or are Leos. And I looked at her and I said, "No, no, this is not about other women of color." I said, "I've seen other women of color." I said, "But this is I said, I didn't say anything about that. I said, this is about her being a black woman. I've never seen a black woman that in this position before. And I know that we exist, sure, but I've never seen it." And in this moment, me being 41 years old, and I've been flying my entire life. Now I've been flying professionally for a couple of years. I This is my first time, and it's not common, and I've met a lot of fams, I've met a lot of Leos. This is my first time meeting one that's a black woman. There's a lot to be said about that, a lot. And it doesn't mean that we don't see it a lot because we're not qualified. That's not what that means. But you go figure that out for yourself, what that means to you, and dig deeper into that. I'm not going to, but the point is, once again, here's the conversation trying to be uh here's a conversation trying to be hijacked and put us in the group of other people. And oh, okay, it's not a big deal. I've seen other women of color before that are fams. No, 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 no. This is not about other women of color who are fams. That's not what I said. First of all, I'm not talking to you. So how about that? Can we, as a listen, as a black woman, let me say this: we are not, we're not talking to you. We're not. It's the club, the all access pass is revoked. Okay, the Black Woman Club is the Black Woman Club. It is, we are collectively minding our own Black woman business. We are resting, and when we are having our conversations, just like everybody else gets to, we are having our conversations. That was our conversation, and it was about specifically the fact that I had never seen another Black fam before. I'd never seen it. And I'm allowed to have that joy and that glee, just like when I was a little girl and I saw the Kenya doll on TV and I started to see black Barbie dolls. And I also, as a child, had to experience so many white people and other people who were outraged by a black doll, a black Kenya doll, and trying to call that reverse racism, or outrage about a black Barbie because she shouldn't be, or even a couple years ago when Ariel was black, and me and my black daughters having to experience the pain and the confusion and frustration of so much outrage about a fictitious character, which can be any color that the author wants it to be or creator wants it to be, because it's not even a real human being. There's no historical context to that. Well, actually there is, and the historical context to that is black, by the way. If we want to dive deep into that, so there's all these emotions and there's all this history, and all that history is black history. It's black woman history, and it's mine. You don't get to come in and take mine and do what so many people get to do in these history books, and play in our faces in school and everything else. You don't get to play in my face. You don't get to take my black woman story and try to make it everybody else's, or make it just a person of color or a BIPOC story. My black woman story is not a BIPOC or BIPOC or whatever story. It's a black woman story. The word black, although hearing it makes some of y'all jump and cringe, hearing it makes some of y'all feel fear and uncomfortableness. We're gonna take that. We're not taking that anymore. I'm gonna redistribute that. You don't get to give me that feeling. You don't get to give me your own issues or inadequacies or your own implicit bias or straight up you just an asshole bias about blackness, and throw it on me and try to force me to keep that. No, I'm going to redistribute it, like Roland Martin said. I'm going to give that back to you and let you deal with your problems about black and blackness, cuz black is beautiful, black is powerful, black is necessary. The wealth of the wicked would not have been a mass without black. Uh, and that's it. Let me go ahead and paint my nails. It was an incredible feeling. I'm not gonna let you take that from me. I'm not gonna let you change the narrative of that experience. I'm not gonna let you change the story, because the stories get to be changed. They get to be changed in the, through the Department of Education. They get to be changed in the history books. They get to be changed in the media, depending on who's controlling the media. It gets to be changed in other people's households, who get to go and retell it any way that they want to. But at the end of the day, the truth of the matter still stands on its own. And the truth of the matter is, are things that as a black woman, we don't get a chance to we have to live in it on a regular basis. So we're gonna let you guys do the same. So that's it. A beautiful, amazing moment. 41 years old, and I'm just meeting my first black woman FAM officer. There's a lot of beauty and there's a lot of like bewilderment and confusion in that. And even in that moment, I had to like literally challenge and snatch back my black woman moment from, once again, someone, whether intentionally or not, trying to change it and take away from my black woman moment and say, "Oh yeah, I've met other women of color before." No, I'm not a woman of color. I'm a black woman. This is not about meeting women of color, and it's no shade to anybody else. Your experience is your experience. But guess what? I get to have mine, and I get to fully have it, and I don't have to share it. We don't have to share it. As a matter of fact, we were just told with a big F you, 2 weeks ago, that that they don't want it to be shared, that other people don't want it to be shared. So we're gonna pick up our toys and go back home. And we're gonna rest, because a lot of us are feeling a lot of tiredness, of unease, of depression, of trauma, like psychological and metaphysical trauma in this moment. And if you are feeling that, it's okay. Chill, rest, and go back in, lock the doors of the club, and let's just be BW1. BW1, Black woman first. And it's possible to be about you and put you first and your interests first and love you the most, as you should. Love you first. Oh, uh, it's okay to do all that. It does not mean that we hate anyone else. It does not mean that we don't care for anyone else. It means we care for us first. Everyone else gets to do that and not be bothered. But for some reason, when Black women, when we do that, we hear, "Don't shut us out," this and this and that. It's a collective thing. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because when we all have to stand as a collective, what happens to us when we are on the front lines, being sister soldier and fighting for everybody else and showing up for everybody else? What has historically happened? Look at the numbers when it comes to Black women in terms of marriage, motherhood, work, domestic violence, finances, everything else. Yeah, I know. I'm getting ready to fix these nails right now. The numbers speak for themselves. That truth speaks for itself. Um, it's time to just be Black woman first. Black woman. Okay. Okay, sis. And it's we can say it with our chest and we can show you better than we can tell you. I am not BIPOC. I am not in a collective. I am a Black woman. And I mean, the country just showed us again the difference. So that's fine. That's cool. We can rest in that. We can stay in that. We can rest and stay in that space. Own it. Ah, don't call us no more. We don't want to talk about it no more. We're not helping no more. None of that stuff. We just point between the first live and this second one. I got my point across. I said the main part of the story I wanted to say. I'm gonna fix my nails, drink my tea, enjoy my Black woman time, enjoy my Black woman space, and go on about my day and handle my Black woman business. Bye bye, guys.